Islam peeps. It's more Camille here with another On the Fly Live. So, this one is about the strawman identity. I took some notes because y'all know I like to get all off the subject. So, in an effort to stay on point, I have note cards. So, on April 5th of 1933, President Roosevelt, on executive order, declared all persons with gold coin, gold bullion, or gold certificates, or gold button on your birth certificate were owned by the Federal Reserve Bank branch agency or any member of the Federal Reserve System. So when your birth certificate is created, not only is a dead or fictional person with your name created, you are traded as merchandise would be traded from a manufacturer with a certificate of origin, and they use the state as point of entry. So wherever your mother's water breaks and you are birthed is point of entry, and your birth certificate is traded as if it is a manifest of your birth as creating you to be merchandise, to be bought, sold, etc. I know. So, the straw man is created the day you were born, and as soon as your parents register for a birth certificate, your straw man is created. And what it is that your straw man is your name registered in all capitals as if it were a corporation, because the United States is a corporation. A corporation can't do business with an individual. So they create the straw man identity because they can do business with the straw man. So that's how they have you in debt, because your birth certificate is already collateral for whatever you would need in life. So they're kind of double dipping. Whereas you pay off a debt, and your birth certificate already pays for you to live, etc., etc. Because no living, breathing, I don't want to say being, no living, breathing spirit can pay bills. So they've made it so that you're collateral against the national debt, so to speak, or this fictitious debt. So, the birth certificate is created the day you're born, and when it's registered, it's part of stock market. Stock market. Double dipping, so twice. Fictional debt. And they're not supposed to, I forget this law, or they're not supposed to be asking a living, breathing being for Federal Reserve notes, because the United States has no gold to back their business dealings. I'm going to have to do one on that. So, the Black's Law Dictionary is filled with all the fictional laws that your straw man lives under. So every time you say to a police officer, let's say you say, that's why more say I overstand, because as soon as you say I understand, you are telling the colonizer's official that you agree with whatever this law or statute or whatever it is. So, just like the birth certificate, registering your car boat, dogs, anything you register is telling the government that it is their property, but they're letting you use it. So your car is not what's being insured. You're being insured to be transported within that vehicle because you're the thing that's worth money, not the actual car. That's what that's for. For you to register yourself as being allowed to be transported in that vehicle because you are placing yourself in possible danger and you're an asset. How deep is that crap? So, birth certificates also make us make children, well, probably all of us, until we correct our our status in this country. Your children especially are wards of the court through the birth certificate. So that's why they're so easily able to remove them from your home, discipline them, place them in foster care, place them in halfway houses, place them wherever they want to, because once you're deemed unfit to care for them, they once again become, they're already wards of the state, but the state takes possession over the children. That's another reason for a birth certificate, because you register them as property of the state. Which makes sense, because when they see children that they think don't have potential, they lock them up or put them in these homes where state money is funneled through. All of that makes sense. Your mail comes with Miss, Mrs., or Mr. on it, or your name will be in all caps. That's representing you as a corporation, because lower caps your name in lower caps would mean that they're breaking the law and doing business with a living, breathing being. They can only do business with a corporation, so they have to send it in all caps, just like the United States is now in all caps, because it's a fully functioning corporation. The United States needs to do business with you in collecting taxes, mortgage, whatever, as another business. Otherwise, they can't get you to pay for these services and such that they're sending these bills for. What else did I want to say? My next video, I think I need to look up. There's a lot to learn about how to rectify yourself as being, how to eradicate your strawman, or to use your birth certificate and social security card as a way to tap into the trust that's been created with your birth certificate and eradicate all your debts. Like, I've seen people do it and it worked, but I haven't studied it enough to give information on it. So I'm going to do some more research on the whole strawman situation and who has been successful in circumventing the use of the strawman. How do you live in this world without this supposed strawman? Because how do you trade services? Do you need to redo your whole life and live in a commune type situation where everybody takes care of each other? I mean, which is as it should be, but how would you live in an environment free from, because that's out of our realm of experience, because we've been made to be so dependent on phones, televisions, blah, blah, blah. So if we went without doing business with the United States to provide all these distractions, what would our lives be like? And that's the question. Without this straw man to stand for us as living, breathing beings, how would business be done? So I'm going to look that up. I'm going to see how business would be done without a straw man. And I also want to try to touch on the correction of your status, since black, Negro, and all these titles ultimately mean that you can't own property or land or anything of that kind. I have to study how that interacts with the strawman identity and how to sever the strawman from the living being, and sever the what else was I talking about? Oh, I forgot. But how to remove the debt with the birth certificate and not be seen as a straw man and live and barter without having had the birth certificate as collateral. You know what I mean? Like, I know the Moors are working on this kind of stuff, but I'm going to be able to study it more before I get into that. So anyway, that's how the straw man works. That's how they get you into debt, and that is how they have all of us playing this credit game. So once they create that birth certificate and create a trust, and I'm not sure the exact amount that each of us is worth, because I'm sure it's by race, male or female, family you come from. I'm sure they have a whole flippin' pattern to how things are valued, so to speak. I'm sure they have a whole way of calculating such a thing. So I'm going to have to look into that as well. But so that straw man is how they get us to pay for all these things that should be free. But if you're a baby and your parents don't know any better and they go get this birth certificate because they're trying to obey the laws of the land, not knowing, because my parents never mentioned that in 1933 Roosevelt said that all birth certificates were owned by the Federal Reserve. Like, I've never heard that specifically. I actually never heard anything of that kind. But I knew that on my birth certificate it said Moorish American and not Negro or black. I know that was insisted upon. And it was insisted upon on my mother's death certificate as well. So I need to get a copy and make sure. But anyway, so that's my straw man talk. And I'm going to do some more research and see how to use that information in order to free us from this debt and credit score game that they have us playing, because none of it means anything, really, because they're double dipping. They're getting us to pay it and the trust pays it. So we got to break free from that foolishness. Anyway, I love y'all. And that's why I do this, so we can find joy in ourselves and each other, and we don't have to look outside ourselves to find it. And I want us to be stronger in our hearts, minds, and spirits so that we can stay on this continent and on this planet, because I don't want to see us disappear, and we seem to be getting whitewashed out. So I don't like that. I don't want that to happen, but I'm not going to cry this time. Anyway, I love y'all, and I'm going to say peace, and this is More Camille, signing out.